As I said earlier, before we go to consider the moral issues that are raised in the movie that you were watching, we wanted to take a close look at what Plato had to say about a problem, an ethical problem that came up. And the author of what you were reading, Peg, I think it's title, could be tittle, not sure quite sure, raises the following kind of issue. That is, many times, doing the right thing, that is the ethical thing or the moral thing, does not necessarily have the best results for us. I mean, we can think of some really simple examples. It could very well be that we're in a hurry to go somewhere and we see, somebody fell down or something, and the right thing to do is really to help pick them up, but we make believe we don't see him and we keep on going because we don't want to take up our own time. But let's see, and let's just quickly turn to the questions that the author actually raises on the second page. Okay, and let me make this a little bit larger so you'll be able to see it, and let's read through it together. Okay, here we go. And here's what you. This thought experiment is part of a larger discussion about justice and the value of being just or morality. What's the right thing? Why should we do the right thing? Okay, and she explains the larger context. Not so worried about that. Glaucon, that's the name of the guy who's arguing or making the argument to Socrates. He wants Socrates to imagine the scenario. That is, we have the just man and he's invisible. Remember, there were two rings, the just man and the unjust man. So he says the just man, if he's invisible, would act as badly as the unjust man, you know, actually does. And according to Glaucon, that means that doing the right thing, doing the moral thing, is not in your best interest. Then he says actually something to the effect that everybody believes that injustice is much more profitable to himself than justice. And from this, he says that if we knew we were never going to get caught, it doesn't matter if you're the just man or the unjust man. What's in your best interest is not to do the right thing, the moral thing, the ethical thing in all circumstances. So the questions being raised is Glaucon correct? You know, or does it somehow show that we just don't know what's in our own interest? Well, here's the question for you. Does it in fact show that, the idea is if we were invisible or if both the just man, the perfectly ethical guy, and the scoundrel, the perfectly unethical guy, both had these rings of invisibility, they would act in the same way. So the point is that there is absolutely no reason for being moral. And you can think about, we'll get to the characters in a movie that you were watching to actually say something about their morality. But what I want you to do now is I want you to think about it. I want you to write something down. And I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts? Does this really prove that there is absolutely no reason to be moral if we can, in fact, get away with it?